We are watching this hapless, feckless loser of a human being, this disgrace to humankind, Bill de Blasio, forfeit the world's greatest city. He is surrendering the city. He finally, last night, got some small lid on it. But that's after days of letting the world's greatest city fall to rioters and a criminal element. Bill de Blasio, the communist mayor of New York, understand what I'm telling you, surrendered the world's largest city. The people who live in this city are about to lose everything. And folks, these are citizens. We don't play that game here that liberals play with us sometimes. I don't care if they're liberals. I don't care if they're communists, Greens. It doesn't matter to me. They are citizens of the United States entitled to not have their asses kicked by rioters and not have their businesses burned to the ground. Now, you may say, well, Dan, are you sure it's de Blasio? Yes, I'm sure. Multiple contacts from the police department have contacted me and others. And they're all saying the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. And what they're saying is this statement. This is from David Raboy, who I quoted the other day, a good man on Twitter, whose friend reached out to him and he put it out on Twitter. So I'm assuming we can look at it, and I'm assuming it's open season here on this. I'm assuming it's fair use. Thank you to David for putting it out there. This is from an NYPD officer who sent him this, was on the front lines. And he says, the world needs to know this. Quote, almost 32 years with the NYPD. I've never felt such disgust, hopelessness, and anger. Manhattan was occupied territory tonight. We were totally outnumbered by miscreants. They were brazen, laughing, and rampant. It was so prevalent there was nothing a police officer could do according to the rules and expectations of the Democrat Party. Our leaders took knees of solidarity with protesters during the day and then had a D word, I'll leave the rest out, at night. The language is rough, folks, but you need to hear this. Zero leadership, zero courage, complete and utter pandering. And I heard the Bronx was even worse. I didn't hear one person say the name George Floyd. It was complete anarchy and savagery. New York, wait until you wake up and see the video of Manhattan. It will look like Iraq. If you don't beg Donald Trump to take charge of these Democrat cities across America, your country will be lost. I saw today disgusted me more than I saw on 9/11. I'm leaving those words blank for a reason. Wasn't even close. Going to bed. Good night. We're about to lose America's biggest cities if we don't do something. The police officers know what to do. If you are a resident of New York City, New York State, or any other major city, you should be asking right now your police chiefs, your sheriffs, and everyone else, where are the mounted units? Where are the quads? Where are the motorcycle units? Where are the crowd control units? Where's the movement restriction at night? Listen, the protests during the day have been largely controlled. At night, it has turned into total anarchy. There's very few protests at night, and there's a whole lot of criminals and Antifa folks. It has to stop now, tonight, or you will lose your country. This is not a joke. It's not about politics anymore. This is about a sovereign nation preserving its dignity and trying to keep the fabric of it together. Now, in case you want to see how badly this has gone off the rails, I said there were three groups of people involved in this, and I meant it. There are protesters exercising their rights. There's a criminal element. There's a criminal element out there. And then there's Antifa. And despite the protestations by the left, I have direct word from people on the ground, known Antifa organizers were there in D.C. Disregard the fake news from the media. I'm getting that from on the ground. They want to cover for Antifa because they love Antifa because they move their ideological agenda. Again, they're the frontline shock troops for the left. The media will cover for Antifa. So again, disregard them. They're nothing but Pravda Soviets. So disregard them. But I want to play this video. You can hear the audio as well. But if there was ever a moment of national red pilling where you wake up and you realize that the axiom I've put out on this show is true, that moment should be now. And the axiom is this: although Republicans may not be the solution to all of your problems, they're probably not. The cause of all your problems is most assuredly the Democrats and their liberal base. Don't ever forget that. You ask me why I vote Republican? Oh, damn, they failed you too, over and over. You're absolutely right. But given a choice of two bad scenarios, don't ever forget the GOP may not be the solution, but the problem is definitely liberalism. And I'm going to add a fourth group to this. You have your protesters, you have your Antifa, and you have your criminals. I'm going to add a fourth group, and that's the useful idiots. That's the largely maybe 18 to 25-year-old snowflake crowd that's never had a job, has never cracked a history book, has been told for the last 18 years of their sorry lives how awful the United States is. And they're the ones sitting there saying, hey, man, we're with you. Solidarity with these rioters. You know, they've listened to way too much, Tom Morello stuff, and they think all of a sudden that they know everything. You know, they've never been in a fight in their life. They've never been punched in the face. Thankfully, I wouldn't recommend doing that to anyone. But let me tell you something. Punching you in the face when you feel it for the first time, you realize, gosh, that really wasn't fun, especially when your eyes start to water. They have no idea about violence or conflict. But when that violence or conflict breaks their window, all of a sudden you'll see what side people are really on. I want to play this video. I want you to listen to the audio for our radio listeners. Let me set this up. These are a couple of kids. They look like some spoiled little brats sitting in an apartment playing some beer pong or whatever with the tunes in the background, while a couple of rioters walking down the street and running, and they're sitting there. Hey, man, they're giving them the thumbs up at the window. You're going to hear something breaking in the background. I want you to listen to the response. Check this out.
Looks like they're just finishing up.
Why are you? We're on your side! We're on your side! Holy shit! We're on your side! We're on your side!
There's your red pill moment for the day. 18, 25-year-old snowflakes with your s'mores and your Hot Pockets. Rioters don't have a side. Their only side is chaos. You need to have a rock thrown through both of your windows to figure that out, you dunces. Pathetic. Again, there's your red pill moment for the day. Wake up.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.